Remember the tune. Rule Britannia, Britannia rules the waves. Britons never, never, never shall be slaves. That's what it's supposed to be, isn't it? But let's try a new version, shall we? Stool Britannia, Britannia rules the waves. Britons never, never, never shall be slaves. There you go. What you were promised and what you've got. Stool Britannia. There you go. Stool Britannia. No, it's not just what comes out of Boris Johnson's mouth. Although it's probably fairly close, it's not just what comes out of his mouth. It's not kind of vile, racist filth. This is human waste, what this picture calls the affluent effluent. There you go. Now, if you're popping down the beach, as I say, we are a coastal town. If you're popping down the beach, look out for a bit of affluent effluent. Yeah. Now, that certainly wasn't on the side of a bus, was it? We weren't promised effluent off our beaches, were we? It was, well, you know, it was all sort of, well, it's okay. No, we're not going to lower environmental standards or anything. No. It'll be fine. But one thing we were promised, and one statement that was made to us, was by Jacob Rees-Mogg. Moggy here, the Mogmeister, probably while eating his dippy eggs with Nanny in the morning and cutting his soldiers for toast, yeah, Dippy Egg and the Moglets said, this is key. We've now got our fish back. They're now British fish, and they're better and happier for it. The MP Jacob Rees-Mogg said that in the House of Commons on the 14th of January 2021. They're British fish, and they're happier for it. Do you think they're still happier for being British fish swimming in British sewage? Yeah, maybe they're very happy, I don't know. So, it said a little while ago, didn't it? The EU said, no, you just can't just dump untreated sewage in seawater. You can't do that, yeah? But pretty soon that became legal because we hadn't got Brexit and we hadn't got the EU anymore. So they had a little bit of a chat and they said, well, because those cleaning chemicals are a bit delayed, personally, most people probably think the EU is deliberately holding them up, so we'll drown in our own waste. No. Because of that, we need to pump sewage into the sea, raw sewage, okay? Great if you're sort of down south there, you live off a beach and whatever. So on October the 9th, 2021, this person spotted a 2-mile sewage trail off the Sussex coast near, of all places, Bognor Regis. Bognor Regis. Regis probably means that it was some kind of royal resort in the past. Regis, regent, yeah. So that was spotted. Fantastic, wasn't it? And as I've just said, did they put this on the side of a bus? Nope, never put that on the side of a bus. 79-year-old man said he's ashamed at his country. So am I, mate, and I'm not even in my 70s, but I'm totally ashamed of what we have become. Now, fear not. Obviously, it's all temporary. It's all down to Brexit delays. Running out of these chemicals is not something us Brits would have wanted, but we can blame the Johnny foreigners, as I'm sure many of them would. It's the jolly foreigners that are probably not selling us the stuff. We blame them. I blame Europe. Yep, we should blame Europe, shouldn't we? Now, I have a suggestion for you. I had to sort of reword a previous video because you never know. I get banned for all sorts of stuff. Supposing you live, like we do, by the seaside, look on the list and try and find out if your MP voted to allow the dumping of raw sewage into our seawater off of our coasts and into our rivers as well, by the way. If you find they did, pop over to his surgery or her surgery, knock on the door, yeah, and very politely ask them to come with you, yeah, to come with you down to the seaside, yeah, and look as you are watching the shite roll in. Dee, 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 dee. And if he hasn't had to roam 2,000 miles to get to watch the shite roll in, yeah, on the dock of your particular bay, at least while he's looking at these things, while he's looking at this cesspit rolling in, while he's looking at the brown sludge with the turds floating in it, don't just sing to him a chorus of Stool Britannia. Ask him, why did he vote to allow this? Say why. Ask him why. Why did he vote to allow this? Why? Why can he cast his vote and now even your dog, they advise you not to let it swim? Ask him why. Ask him why. Yeah. And, just kind of finalising this. This is the thin end of the wedge. Much worse will happen. Much, much worse will happen. Safety at work regulations, even health and safety, basic hygiene and health protections at work will, of course, be reduced. The bare minimum. Yeah? And why will they be reduced? Well, like they haven't got enough truckers because they won't pay enough money, yeah? They will need maximum production. And if having a guard on that machine that must lock it out, yeah, before you can do any work on it, yeah, before the engineers can go in or you can attend to it or something, if that is a bit of a, it just kind of delays production a bit, yeah, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. That guard won't have to be there by law. I'm going to end on an incident that happened shortly after I'd graduated from Leicester Poly many, many years ago, in the 1980s, in fact, so it was probably quite a while after. This is a historical event. It actually happened. Fresher Bakeries, as they were then called, Leicester, had an issue with one of their huge industrial ovens. Yep. This thing is about, I don't know, probably longer than 2 tennis courts, yeah? And it heats up gradually, yeah, to, hot enough to bake bread in the hundreds of degrees Fahrenheit, yeah? And gradually the bread slides through, yeah, and it's cooked as it goes along. Now, unlike the oven that is standing next to me, you can't just turn this oven off and it cools pretty quickly. This oven would have to have a sort of, literally a cool down phase, probably about 48 hours to cool down. But Fresher were just desperate to get the bread out there, and their share price wasn't doing very well and everything. They really couldn't kind of afford these delays. So Fresher came up with a system whereby they could incentivise, by paying triple time or whatever, a couple of workers to go in there just when the oven had been switched off and cooled enough, and kind of stand within a moving conveyor belt inside, encased in this oven, with any residual heat still there, get to the cog, keep moving with the belt, and then replace it, and then come round the circuit again and get back out. The only problem was the oven had not cooled down enough. Sure, they tried to rescue these 2 Leicester workers who were inside and banging and shouting and being literally burned, cooked alive, yeah, men and women and emergency services and everything rushed down, trying to take the sides off the oven or anything. But it was too late. These men were killed. Yeah, they were killed. And there was no system on that industrial oven to actually lock it out and make that impossible to happen. Now, why were these workers made to do this? The company compensated, obviously, the family of the tragically killed workers. Yeah, why did they do this? Making profit, making money at the expense of human life. Yeah. So don't just look at this kind of stuff with all the environmental regulations and whatever, all been kind of loosened up and all that lot. Don't just look at it like that. Yeah. It's going to get worse. Yeah. We are going back, when you set your clocks back, remember, Victorian England. Set them back to Victorian England. Yeah. Because we are going back to that time where human life is cheap. It means nothing. Yeah? That's where we're headed back for. And that's exactly what the Tories are going to do. So, quick reminder then, if you plan on swimming, stick to the swimming pools if I were you.